welcome back to Stitching Ewe and More podcast. I'm your host Amanda, also known as Little Panda 518. This is episode 9. Welcome back to all my returning viewers, and welcome if you're just now finding me. Feel free to, if you have the time, hop back and watch the last 8 episodes. We've had some really cool stuff, especially episode 8. It was my special episode, so there was lots of fun in that one. You can find me on, we have a group in Ravelry. Please hop on over there, jump in, join the conversation. It is Stitching Ewe and More podcast group on Ravelry. You can find me on Instagram as Little Panda 518. I love posting pictures over there. If you can't wait that week for my next podcast, feel free to follow me on Instagram and see what I'm up to, because I post all the time. So let's get started this week. I'm not real sure how long this one's going to be. I've kind of felt a little ill this week, so I'm a little late recording, as you guys can, well, hopefully you guys won't be able to tell. I normally try to record on a Saturday, and then that way I can give myself a day or two to edit. But here it is, a Sunday afternoon, and it's pretty gloomy out the window. And I'm sorry if I cough, just heads up. I'm going to try not to. If I do, I'll try to edit it out. So let's see, where do we begin? Whips. I don't have any. Well, I do, but I didn't bring it in here. The only whip that I currently have going on is my Rainbow of Doom. I've continued slow progress on that. I'm going to try to put some of it more to the forefront so I can get some more things whipped out and kind of get that blanket moving along a little bit more. I've actually finished quite a bit of stuff this week, which I'm kind of surprised, but I haven't been feeling good, so I've spent a lot of time on the couch. So the first thing I finished this week is going to be my honey cowl. I didn't write down, let me check last notes. Oh, I didn't have show notes last week. That's right. So I don't remember who it's by, but it's on my project page. So this is the honey cowl. It's completely gorgeous. Hope it's covering the screen pretty good there. The yarn is hand dyed by Love Knots. It's a gorgeous pink and teal and gray. Hopefully you guys can see some of that beautiness in there. And I made the long version, which if I can get it, see if I can get it on the camera there. It's probably not as long as normal, because I think the pattern calls for like a DK or a worsted weight, and I used a fingering, but I still used the size needles that the pattern calls for, and I just wanted a little more drapey. So, and it works for me. I love it. I need to block it because the edges are curling. But once it's blocked, it's going to be beautiful. And I know once it's blocked, it's definitely going to grow this way because it's very, very stretchy. So, I mean, that's just gently tugging on it. I mean, you can see how much it grows there. So, I'm going to work on getting that blocked hopefully this week. My other finished project this week, I was just kind of playing around. I'm working on more of my little stuffies. I love making these little guys, and I have cat hair and a little bit of my hair. Whoops. No project's finished without hair in it, right? No, really, if I do stuff for other people, I really make sure that I try to keep the cat hair off the yarn as much as possible. And if it gets too bad, I just wash it beforehand. But here's this little chubby bear. I was working on his head, and then I realized that I forgot to put the safety eyes in. That's his ear, his eyes up here. So I just had to stitch his eyes in. I just got kind of carried away crocheting and totally forgot to do that before I stuffed and closed his head. So I'm going to make some more of these little guys. I'm actually starting to work on creating my own pattern for my stuffies. So this one was loosely based off of a free pattern on Ravelry, and I say very loosely based. So yeah, you'll see more kind of different styles coming up as I play with some different numbers and increases and decreases for the little stuffies. So that's definitely on my What am I trying to say, Amanda? Definitely on my to-do list. That's what I was trying to say. This whole being sick thing has really messed with my head, so that's been fun. My last finished project, you guys, that's 3 in 1 week. And that's kind of crazy since I was traveling last weekend and then I haven't felt good this week. But this next finished project, I am so excited about it. I don't even have words. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw already, or if you can tell by my excitement, maybe you'll be able to tell. I finished my socks. I'm so excited. Oh, I don't have sock blockers yet, so we're just gonna have to kind of deal with me holding them up. Let me see. I've got the curtain open on my window today, trying to bring in some more of the natural light, hoping that that helps a little bit. So yes, I do have really small feet, so that kind of helped me getting my socks done. I did a 2x2 rib at the top here. There we go. I did a short rib because I don't really like doing ribbing. My next pair, I may do the ribbing a little bit longer. And then I did the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which I absolutely love. And then I did, oh, let me get it out here. I did the Star Toe. And I kind of like how I like all the circles in and then ends on gray. And I think that's pretty cool because both socks, now it's a different amount, but both socks end on gray. I think that's pretty cool. So I have my first pair of socks and I put them on last night after I finished so I could take a picture, and then like I text like half the people on my phone saying, hey, look at my socks, I finally have them done, yay! I didn't text half the people. I texted the people that knew that would be excited for me. But that was still quite a few people in my phone. And then of course I got them posted on Instagram this morning since I finished them at like 11:30 last night. So yes, I was that crazy person texting people at like 11 o'clock, but it was a Saturday. And I knew people would be excited. So that's kind of what I finished. So that kind of brings me perfectly into stash acquisitions, as if my yarn stash that grew from last episode wasn't enough. I have some more. So my next pair of socks, I already have the yarn picked out. One of the other podcasters that I watched, she was doing a de-stash, and I saw the picture and I'm like, oop, that's mine. So I sent her a message on Ravelry and she had the yarn shipped out like the next day. And this is a sock yarn that I've been wanting to work with for the longest time because I see it all over all these other podcasts. And I'm like, I have to get my hands on some of that, but I didn't know where to get it here in the States, and I didn't want to have to pay for like overseas shipping. If you can find it here in the US for cheaper, let me know where I can find it. I haven't done a whole lot of research because I'm trying to stay off yarn websites, because if I get on, then I buy way too much. So I have Regia Floramania, and like the camera does this absolutely no justice about how neon this is, but it's teal and this really pretty coral, and the coral's kind of tonal to where it goes into like this peach color. If I move the label, I don't know if you can tell. You can see a little bit of the difference in the camera, but yeah, the camera, this is so neon-y. I absolutely love it. Now, like with these, since they were my first pair of socks, I did a really short leg, and I have a ton of yarn left over. Like, I could probably make a whole nother pair of socks for myself out of that yarn that I still have left. But I think with this one, I'm going to make the leg of the sock a lot longer, just so I can try to use up as much as I can, because it's gorgeous, y'all. I cannot wait to get these cast on. I'll probably be doing that after I get this edited and started to upload. So I have another skein, but I didn't buy this one. I won this one. So I watched the Geeky Girls Knits podcast. They're like my absolute favorite podcast, right? Well, not right now, but They have like over 100 episodes, and when I found them, I watched their most recent one, and then I was that crazy person that went all the way back to episode 1 and completely binge watched through like all 100 and some episodes. And they come out, they post a new episode every Thursday. So every day when I'm at work on Thursday, like that's what I can look forward to, because I know as soon as I get home, I can sit down, kick my feet up, and watch their podcast even before the hubs gets home. So I can watch it uninterrupted, so I pick up my crocheting or my knitting or whatever project I'm working on, get a glass of sweet tea, and kick back and watch them. So they did, this was for their Geeky Girls Winter Wonderland cow. And they do their cows in like 3-month increments. And so I probably had 10 to 15 different posts put in for the different items I had created during that time frame. And I was excited because my name got called for this glorious color. And who better to get this than me, because it's my favorite color. It's Sweet Georgia. It's Tough Love Sock, 80% superwash wool, 20% nylon, 425 yards in the Glacier colorway. It's hand dyed in Canada. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to make this socks or if I want to make it into something else. Because right now my brain is like in total, like when it comes to knitting, my brain is in total sock mode. Like I didn't have second sock syndrome. I finished the first sock, immediately cast on the second sock, and like was already looking through other yarn to make more socks. And as you saw last week, I bought some more sock yarn. So I'm definitely in like uber sock mojo. But I don't want to like say, oh, that's going to be a sock and that's going to be a sock, because then I'm going to have so much sock yarn just stockpiled. I'm not going to know which one to do next. So I'm not going to say what this is going to be yet. Because I like little shawlettes too. Because I love just throwing those on as I head out to work, and it's just a cute little accessory. I don't wear makeup every day I just don't wear it on a daily basis. I don't wear a whole lot of jewelry. And the jewelry that I do wear, I wear it day in and day out, so I don't accessorize a whole lot. I'm not that super girly girl, have to wear makeup and have a different ring and earrings and a necklace on every day. But when it comes to hand knits, I love to accessorize. And I'm really working on building up my own personal supply, because for the last probably 2 years, ever since I kind of hit that addiction mode of getting back into crafting, I've been crafting a lot for booths and other people. And so I was talking to one of my knitting friends the other day, and I told him, I'm still kind of stuck in like this selfish crafting mode, because October to December I did nothing but gift knit and crochet and work on stuff for a booth that I was doing. Because I did like 3 booths in the fall, and one I did really well at and completely almost sold out of everything I had. So then I had to very hurriedly get stocked up for my next booth. So I'm going to know to be more prepared next time when I book 3 booths in 3 months. But yeah, I'm still kind of stuck in this selfish kind of crafting mode, and I kind of need to break out of that because I have a booth at the end of April. So I'm working on a list of trying to figure out stuff for that. I know it's going to be here a lot faster than I expect it to be. I'm about a month, probably about 5 weeks out right now, because it's the festival is the last weekend of April. So I think that, the little bears that I'm going to work on as I work on creating the pattern for my stuffy, I know I'm going to have a lot of prototypes leading up to the one that I'm going to actually use. So I'm going to hopefully have kind of some of those prototypes to sell off at my booth. And I'm going to work on some hats and just kind of some summery fun things, and maybe some baby things, because baby things always seem to go well. Sorry, I have the window open, and out of the corner of my eye I saw like a dog running by. I was just making sure it wasn't mine. So I don't really have a whole whole lot this week, but I don't want to make, oh, I do have something else. I had a question posted in the Ravelry group. It was a question from Crazy Knitting Fool. She asked what the best project for beginner crocheters were, or was. Yeah, I can't talk today. But she wanted to know what the best project was. And I'm one of those people that it's not like, oh, here's a granny square, here's a hook, here's some yarn, do a granny square. I'm more along the lines of pick something you really want to do, because learning a new craft, no matter what, you're going to end up challenging yourself to overcoming a bunch of the obstacles and learning the craft. And the crocheting and knitting community is so generous, and they're willing to help out other beginners. And so I say go on Ravelry, pick a pattern, or even Pinterest. Find a pattern of something that you really want to make, because if it's something that's going to hold your interest, it's going to be something you're going to want to work on, and you're going to want to learn how to do it. Now, I don't suggest running out and grabbing like a fully crocheted shawl, but I mean, there's some of these stuffies are very simple if you want to do something that's 3D. I mean, there's so many things, a hat, slippers, it's all the same stitches. Once you learn the base of a single crochet, you can build off that one simple stitch, and it's just a double crochet. You just wrap your yarn one more time. So it's once you learn the foundation of a chain and a single crochet, you can do anything in crocheting. So my advice to you, Crazy Knitting Fool, is really just pick a pattern you want to do and grab your hook and yarn and get started. If you have questions, feel free to PM me. I'd be more than happy to help you. And that kind of brings me to another thing that I've thought about. I really want to do a VKN, a virtual knit night. With this podcast, like I've said before, I'm doing it for the community and to grow our community of crocheters and knitters and fiber artists just in general. Now, I'm not the greatest knitter, so I may not be able to help on all those tricky questions, but I have people I can go to ask the questions. But with crocheting, I think I have pretty good skills. I've crocheted on and off for over, it's kind of scary to say, but almost 20 years. I've kind of hit the addiction level probably 2-3 years ago, but I have the skills to be able to help others, and that's what I want to do. So if you have questions on any crochet patterns, feel free to ask in the Ravelry group. PM me on Ravelry or Instagram or however you want to get a hold of me. And if you're interested in joining a VKN, let me know in the Rav group and I can work on setting that up. Right now I'm going to do if it's something that y'all are interested in, I am going to use Google Hangouts, and that does limit to about 10 people. But for the VKN, if you just want to pop in and say hi, feel free to do so. If you want to stick around, you can. If this is something that y'all like, I'll try to do it more on a regular basis so we can kind of have more back-and-back conversation and communication, because I'd love to get to know some more of you guys. And with that, jump over in the Ravelry group, introduce yourself. If you introduce yourself in the welcome thread, I will give you a shout out. Even if you want to introduce yourself in the Rav group and don't want a shout out, introduce yourself and just kind of at the end to say you don't want a shout out on the podcast. But if that's not on there, I will definitely give you a shout out. I need to stop saying that word. It just kind of gets crazy. Sorry, looking back to make sure. So my knitting coming up is going to be another pair of socks. I'm really working hard getting ready for this booth. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of knitting besides some sock knitting. And I'm really getting back into my crochet mojo. And I'm going to be working on stuff for that show. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. There feels like there is. You know what? I don't think there is. So sorry this is going to be a short one. I haven't really done much, so I don't really have a whole lot to tell you about my week. Wait, yes I do. This week, our knit night, we went to a pizza shop. It was so much fun. So we went to a local pizza, little parlor, Larry's Pizza. They have a pizza buffet of like any pizza you can think imaginable. And it's really nice because you you walk in, you pay for the buffet, you get your drink, and then you go sit down. And you have the option of either going up to the buffet line and getting whatever pizza is up there, or their waitresses and waiters will bring the pizza around and they'll just hold it and they'll call out whatever pizza's in their hand, from like macaroni and cheese pizza to bacon chicken ranch. They had a taco pizza, a hamburger pizza, and my all-time favorite pizza, loaded baked potato pizza. So yummy! So many carbs, but so yummy. And then they also have dessert pizza. They had a meringue pizza and banana pudding pizza. And I had the chocolate chip pizza. And they also had like cinnamon and chocolate cinnamon breadstick that was super yummy. Oh, it was so nice. We sat up there. I had worked late that day, and the pizza parlor is on the other side of the town next to us. So I opted to just kind of hang out in the parking lot beforehand, and I worked on my socks some, and I only had to wait about 45 minutes until the first person showed up for the group, and then I moved inside. Which, that brings me to another story. So we had our whole fun night knitting and talking and eating. And of course it was pouring down rain at this point. Well, it was pouring down rain before we had gone inside too. And when I was sitting out in my car, I had my car on accessory mode. You can tell where this is leading. So I thought I had turned the car all the way off. And I had my bag. And silly me didn't want to grab an umbrella because I'm like, I'm walking 10 feet. Surely I can walk 10 feet in the rain and not melt. So I had all my stuff ready to go. Thought I had shut my car off, got out of the car, shut the car door, so I didn't hear anything beep at me because it was like pouring down rain, and so I just kind of took off running. And I have on my car, I just push a button on my door and it locks it. Well, I thought I'd done that. So night wraps up, like pouring down rain even harder. I go out to start my car and I turn my little knob and I get click, 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 and nothing. Apparently, I hadn't shut off the accessory to my car. So here it is, pouring down rain. Then I realized that my jumper cables are buried in the trunk of my car, and I wasn't about to unbury them, so I graciously walked back in the restaurant and interrupted a couple people's dinner asking if they had some jumper cables, and there was one couple that graciously stopped their dinner, went out and got jumper cables for me so I could jump my car and then be on my merry way. So, and this is the first, I've had my car like 3 years. This is the first time I've ever killed it. So lesson learned, even when it's raining, make sure that I stop and listen for any beeping, because they have the beeping there for a reason. So PSA to everyone, just kind of make sure you check your car before you get out of it so you don't learn your lessons like I do. So I think that's kind of wrapping things up. I know it's a short one. Hopefully next week I'll be back with lots and lots of more fun stuff. So just keep on stitching, y'all.